Can you, Madam Chair, can you all hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Well, I could have a sense of humor about operating on 2 and 3 and 4 devices trying to get into this hearing, but I was hearing it, and it is an important hearing. And so I want to again thank you very much for your leadership to Floridians and the ranking member. And I appreciate the fact that we have a combination, very important combination of police departments and fire departments in our chair and ranking member. I support both in terms of the vital work that they do, coming from Texas and coming from Houston, and being in the eye of disasters. We have had to rely upon the teams working together. Let me give a brief anecdote as I raise my questions to the witnesses that are there. I was in the United States Capitol on 9/11. I was told by then Capitol Police, the first voices we heard to get out and run as we saw them doing their job. And it was well known that the first level of information was not any information because we did not have the connectedness that we needed. And rumors were that they were headed toward the White House, the Capitol, the State Department, and as well that they were headed to Houston, Texas, because it was the energy capital of the world. So I firsthand understand clearly, in contrary to my dear friend from Louisiana, Mr. Higgins, that we cities and communities, we support police with funding. We understand, and you should understand, that there are issues that would involve the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, but we are supportive of the basic infrastructure of law enforcement in this nation, and that is all Americans who cede themselves to the authority of law enforcement and first responders, fire departments as they do their job. So let me ask this general question that may have been asked, but I can ask in a different way. It is all about infrastructure. It is all about the connectedness that you need to communicate. And in our visit to 9/11, we were so much reminded of what happened with the firefighters, heroic running up those stairs, and how different systems cannot communicate. So I understand we're still on the 1960s and 1970s infrastructure. Give us just your points of what we need to do immediately. There's a funding question, there's a technology question, and I know that you have been answering, but give it to me in a pointed way so that we can end this in 2021 that you've been in dealing with for this long period of time. And I would be delighted to have the witnesses answer these questions if they would. And do I need to call on the Deputy Chief of the Fire Department in Seattle and then others who could answer? Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman.
Chief Lombard.
Thank
there
you,
you are.
The so one of the things you mentioned the technology, but I can't emphasize enough the people aspect, that making sure that we have the people that we know how to talk to. When I went down to Hurricane Harvey, one of the first phone calls I was able to make was to Todd Early, your SWIC, your statewide interoperability coordinator, and Ken Wright, who works with the Houston Fire Department. By contacting them, I was able to find out who I needed to talk to find out and facilitate the communications infrastructure. What's working, what's not, what can we bring, how can we help you? DHS's support of SAFECOM and the FirstNet Public Safety Advisory Committee are two great examples where you as Congress are bringing us together so that we can make those connections, make those relationships, so that when disaster does come, we know who to contact on the ground.
So Chief Meyer, Sheriff Meyer, what is your assessment of the greater work that we can do for law enforcement and the connectivity that you need? And speak about connectivity between different first responders, such as connectivity with fire departments, in addition to police departments or law enforcement. Chief Meyer?
Yeah, thank you,
Sheriff Meyer?
Oh, go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Congresswoman, thank you for giving me a chance to talk about this. One of the most important things that Deputy Chief Lombard talked about was that communication planning process, and that is a fact. DHS has been a leader on this and continued funding and support of SAFECOM, where I served as funding and sustainment, where we developed ideas of how to have radio systems that not just interconnected, but were truly interoperable, because we understood, as you stated, we have to talk to the police, the fire, the EMS, and all of the public safety people that support us. Those relationships and in the planning process are the single most important thing to move forward. Technology can be leveraged, most certainly. We add path diversity, we include resilience in our systems. As the sheriff talked about in Florida, we can have alternate locations to have our emergency communication centers so that if they are affected, they don't take out the entire communication system, just part of it that is affected. And we work around those. That's what we plan to do. Your continued support and funding of DHF SafeCon and the efforts that we're doing will help keep us on the right path forward.
The gentlewoman's time has expired. Thank you so much. For
Thank you so very much for this
and your answers.
hearing.
The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Texas.